What?
Well, now I'm off my game because fighting games are, hey, yeah, we just technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, fighting games are, there's been a bit of Tekken news, hasn't there?
Yes, there's been a couple of things here and there. So, uh, before we begin, I guess, so just so I remember, there's gonna be a link in the description if you want to play along. We have the bingo card there, whatever. So, Tekken news. Tekken has announced that Arika is going to be supporting not just Tekken 7, but they will also be working on the netcode for Tekken 8.
So that's what Harada meant when he said Tekken 7 isn't done yet.
Yes. There's gonna be a
And
season. There's gonna be a season 8. I actually don't know which season we'd be on. But there's gonna be a season 8. There's gonna be just one character, Skullomania.
that would be nice. That would be nicer than what we'll probably actually end up getting, which is a Tekken Tag 2 character, more or less unchanged, I suppose. I don't know. I think I've established on the last several episodes that I don't really care about Tekken anymore. Like, the dream Tekken game for me is a game that already exists.
Yeah.
However, do you care about to talk about it?
Well, they did also show off stuff. And the netcode, I don't give a shit. Like, you know, as usual, if the netcode is good, if the netcode is good, good. If the netcode is not, all right. Like that's
It's
generally my opinion on netcode.
well, at the end of the day, for you, the netcode doesn't really matter unless I'm also picking up the game, and I don't think I will.
Yeah.
So if it's a game that it's just you buying and you have a choice between rollback netcode and more single player content, you're always going to choose the single player content.
Yeah.
And now we've successfully got most of the serious fighting game players to turn the podcast off. What do we talk about next?
But yeah, so they've also announced gameplay mechanics. They talked about the heat system, which is new. And I was like, this is cool. I'm glad that they changed Rage to be good. And I remembered, Rage has not been removed. This is on top of Rage. Fuck.
Well, yeah, they're just going to keep adding, like, subsystems. Like, they don't... It's not meant to be Tekken anymore.
Yeah, like I said in the text channel, like, I'd be fine with Tekken if it removes Rage. Like, I'd be fine with Tekken going into an anime fighter route, if only just because Tekken has been the grounded footsies 2D game, because most 2D or 3 fucking grounded footsies 3D game, but most 3D games are grounded footsies. So if Tekken wanted to become an anime fighter, it would be weird. But I'd give it a look. Like, I can't promise anything more than, but I'd give it a look, you know. But Tekken's not doing that. Tekken is trying to feed the goat but keep the lettuce. Which is Hungarian saying.
I was about to say, that doesn't translate.
Yeah. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too.
I suppose so. I mean, I still don't get... you've explained this a million times, but it's just so alien to me why it is that it makes you so mad. Why is it that even if Tekken becomes over-the-top anime fighter, you still are offended by Rage?
It's at least partially because of the looks of it. Like, it's just such a no effort combat mechanic, and it also makes the game look fucking horrible. And so does Heat, by the way. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with Tekken team or her. I don't know who is responsible for this, but I don't know what it is with Bamco's just obsession with making fucking sweat clouds emit off of people and going, yeah, that makes them strong.
It's an anime thing.
I mean, they're charging up. They're charging up in Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball doesn't look that shit.
Kaioken
Kaioken barely has anything that it changes.
It makes you red.
Does it?
In the video games, it does. And keep in mind, that's where I know Dragon Ball from.
Ah, yeah. No. In the if memory serves, the Kaioken is just Goku goes Kaioken, and then I hit harder now, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it looks garish next to the realistic graphics, and I just hate it. Like with Akuma, Akuma has the lightning effect going on for him in Tekken 7. But there's a couple things to consider with Akuma, like he's a guest character, so you know, like Akuma. I'm willing to say Akuma is slightly different just because he's a guest character, coming from a universe where that shit's normal, and also it's only in his Vim poses, so it doesn't really affect gameplay. Rage looks horrible. Rage has always looked horrible. And it's also just such a like. Well, it's one of those things where looking at the heat system, they were like, you need to trigger this. There's this bar. You need to trigger this and then stuff like that. If Rage worked like that, if Rage was like X Factor, and you could just, you know, when you get into a bad position, you could just trigger it for a bit of time, and then it would go away. Even that would fix it for me. Because to me, the big problem with Rage is that it's something that you can't circumvent. It's something that will happen, regardless of whatever you do in a match. And it just takes me out of it.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, yeah. Heat, as I've said, looks interesting. It's like they're basically adding FADCs to Tekken because it worked for Akuma, so fuck it. And you know, like once again, if this was what Rage became, fine. On top of Rage, maybe a bit too much for what is Tekken, but you know, on the other side, once again, if they would just if they were to just go, all right, full commit, we're an anime fighter now. Fucking Kazuya has an air dash. In fact, everyone does. I'd be interested. I'd be interested in playing it at least once, just to see how they fuck it up. Because there's no way that they're nailing that on the first try. Like you can't. Like it's the idea of a 3D air dasher mystifies me. So I would play it just to see what it actually plays like.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, like Tekken 8, from the stuff that I've seen, really feels just like they're trying to, you know, hold on to being the grounded footsies fighter that Tekken always has been, but they're also trying to get some of the casual crowd and stuff like that by adding unnecessary mechanics that look flashy and inch the game closer to becoming an anime fighter.
Well, it's working. Tekken 7 sold gangbusters, dude.
I know. But yeah, so like, you know, I am like I was gonna say I'm cautiously optimistic, but not really. Like it's a game that's coming out. That's pretty much it.
You're having to say something because I don't care. Like, I'm just not. I'm generally not a huge 3D fighter person to begin with. And again, like, I have no real reason to care just because I got the Tekken I wanted. It came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, and meanwhile, like, technically I've got the Tekken I wanted, I just can't fucking play it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah. Then let's see. I have a couple of topics saved, but I'm trying to. Apparently, Dem's Fighting Herds revealed a new character.
All right.
Good for them.
Yeah, that game, I'm sure continues to be good, and we won't play it because none of us would be caught dead playing it. No game has a greater issue from, well, it and Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive isn't so bad that I just won't ever play it.
There's an entire subgenre of games of fighting games specifically, where the character design is so eccentric, I guess is a way to put it, that it goes on my list. Stuff like Arcana Heart is there.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a small girl fighter. That being said, I have actually played Arcana Heart because I streamed it on PS Plus to play with my niece. They didn't like it. Neither did I.
Is Toho a fighting game or is it a bullet hell?
Toho is both. Toho is traditionally a bullet hell,
What?
but Toho is a bullet hell, but how the guy who makes them does it is that people can easily license it out and just make their own games. So there are Toho fighting games.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's a Toho anything that you can think of. There's Toho rhythm games, I think, too, which that makes more sense to me just because the music that the guy makes is actually really good. Well, some of it. Which, by the way, Toho, as far as I know, is actually made by like a guy, and that's it.
Nice.
And then Toho has been made by a guy for the past like 30 years.
Well, respect to him, I guess, but to my understanding, that's a weird, creepy anime little girl game. So at the same time, fuck him.
But yeah, like there's the entire like doujinshi fighter subgenre where I'm just like, okay. I guess there's more games that I won't play.
Yeah.
And it's a thing of like, do I like MLP? No. I'd play Gems Fighting Girls before most doujinshi fighters, at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, at least
like there's perversion to be found there, but it's still like a less creepy perversion than that.
I mean, like, I haven't seen real gameplay. I've seen like a trailer for Gems Fighting Herds. The stuff that I saw didn't seem sexualized at all. So at least there's that.
I would assume not.
Whereas I have problems with even schoolgirls, so
Skullgirls, well, you gotta keep in mind one of the artists on Skullgirls is actually a porn artist.
Well, I know, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
I don't know. I think that's in the same place as Dead or Alive, where there's definitely horniness going on. Honestly, I think it's not as bad as Dead or Alive, though. Because not all the girls in that game are horny,
There's like 2, maybe 3 that aren't. But sure.
I mean, if you... Okay, there's Peacock, there's... What's the weird monster girl?
I forget her name, but yeah. And then there's the Umbrella Child that they added as DLC.
Yeah. And the Star versus whatever girl, whatever her name was. And the mobster chick doesn't look like she's going to be sexualized either. Like, really, it's the core cast plus the initial DLCs. And even then, I think... Even then, I think, like, it's not really... Like, they're idealistically designed. But other than the main chick, whose name escapes me, what's her name? Other than her wearing the Skullgirl outfit, which of course, and Cirabella being who she is, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's just cartoonish stripper designs to me.
I don't know.
Like, I think
Yeah.
I think 3D Mortal Kombat was much worse about that because while the designs weren't as fluidly well animated in that kind of way that gets people going, it was still Melina and Sonya dressing like that, you know?
Yeah, but then to me, like, Valentine. I think that's her name. I forget the doctor chick.
Oh, I completely forgot that character even existed at all. Yeah, she's definitely the one.
Like Valentine is my Sharui levels of animated. And that gives you all of the information about her animation style.
But Mai's never stopped us from playing KOF.
But Mai is one character, and not like to me it's a difference of
they're not all Valentine either.
But yeah, but to me it's a difference of there's like 2 characters in KOF that I can think of that I would consider down that bad, and then there's like fucking 13 at least that I can point out the women designs that aren't that horny. And in Schoolgirls, I can think of like 4 that are down very bad, and that's like half the cast.
I think it's a 30-30 split, and then the remaining 10 is the dudes. It's Beowulf and Big Band. Beowulf's pretty idealistic for a dude as well, you gotta admit.
Yeah.
But if someone has an erection for Big Band, you go for that. You go for that, Chief. I mean, I think it's like, okay, the issue we would have, though, with Philia, is that her name?
Yeah, I think so.
Philia or Parasol is like getting... If we look away from the fetishization of the schoolgirl costume, which is, of course, a horrible, horrible, horrible thing that we are just kind of not addressing in our culture for some reason. If we look past that, it's kind of like, well, is the game horny just because the characters are attractive? Because, I mean Parasol...
Yeah. What?
They're not dressed like cartoonish strippers. Valentine and Cerebella are, but they're
not dressed like cartoonish strippers, but they're sure as fuck animated like in some moves.
I don't know. I don't think it's as bad unless you know about the about Zone.
I don't know, because the schoolgirls design bothered me before I learned about one of the animators being a porn artist, and that's one of the reasons that I hadn't played the game before you bought the game for me, because I just looked at the gameplay and no. Like the animations put me off of the game.
As someone who is heterosexual and more likely to be looking for that stuff, I don't entirely see it. There's a couple animations that are pretty thorough about that, but honestly, not any worse than most fighting games. I mean, dude, do you want to take a look at most of the Street Fighters and see Juri or Laura or Mika?
I mean, with Juri at least, I don't like the funny thing about Juri is that I like Juri because she does Taekwondo. It took me by surprise that people were big into her feet, and then I went, never mind, that actually makes sense. But someone had to point it out for me to actually notice her feet.
If you hadn't noticed, though, by the time of Street Fighter 6's release,
yeah, then Capcom is making sure you do.
Yeah.
The deluxe edition of the physical deluxe edition of fucking Street Fighter 6 comes with a resin casting of Juri's feet.
Like, Street Fighter 6 has so far been much more tame with their female character designs than 5 was. But oh god, Juri is going for it, right?
Yeah, but like the Juri 2 is like
and it's funny because Marissa...
Yeah.
Well, I want to get this in real quick just because it's a funny observation. I think people right now are about as horny for Marissa as they were for Laura in Street Fighter 5. And that's just funny to me because like those are such opposite designs in near every way.
Yeah. But yeah, like Jury to me is like Jury is the exception because she's a character like Melina, where she's not like she can come off as horny, but it's more that she's crazy.
Oh, I need to
Yeah.
mention this real quick. Melina is not the horniest character in Mortal Kombat 11.
I hmm.
You know who it is? You know who is the horniest character in Mortal Kombat 11?
Who?
Kano. No, Sindel.
Ah,
They went hard into the MILF paint for this one. Oh boy! She's not quite, Mortal Kombat 9 or Mortal Kombat Deception levels of, holy Jesus, she's just got it hanging out. But she's definitely the one who's coming on the strongest out of the cast.
I mean, to be honest, I did I think I had a couple of fights against her, and I just didn't notice.
It's zombie Sindel you don't notice. She's thankfully more conservatively dressed, because who's going to be horny for zombie Sindel? However, human...
anyway, yeah.
Well, yes, I know, but living Sindel, whew.
I think it also helps with me not noticing Sindel being particularly horny. It helps me in that words. But yeah. Like, Sindel's always been wearing a corset, so...
Nah.
But yeah, like what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like I guess this is a difference in what we personally define as horny, because I look more into the animations and how people act, and you look more into the outfits. So
yeah.
Rachel Alucard, for example. I didn't notice anything being off until I played the story mode, then I went, fuck Blaze Blue.
Yeah.
But like her animations are normal. Her outfit is Toho. Like Rachel Alucard just looks like a Toho character, so...
I don't know what that means, but I'm going to assume it's bad.
It's just like Victorian era dress, pretty much. That's the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Which, makes sense considering she's a vampire. But yeah.
I suppose so.
Or like, I don't even know who else I could point out immediately. What's her face? The big arm girl from Uni. To me, her outfit just looks like a wrestling outfit, so it's,
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where like female wrestlers dress a certain way, and that way has become normalized to me. That being said, even still, sometimes I look at how actual real life wrestlers dress, and I go, why?
It differs from time period to time period, and there's someone who's the worst in any given time period about it.
Yeah.
Nikita, have you seen any Nikita Lyons matches?
I don't think so. The most recent one that I remember was Charlotte Flair had, if memory serves, she had like a something that looked like a full body outfit, but it wasn't actually a full body outfit. It was just strips connecting the top and the bottom.
That does sound like Charlotte, yeah.
And that's one of those things where like I look at that outfit and I go, that just looks kind of dumb, and it just strikes me as a waste of time to make, and like it doesn't really cover you, so why?
Yeah.
But yeah. Then, speaking of schoolgirls, apparently they announced an alternate voice pack for Black Dahlia, which is Good Granny Black Dahlia. None of these
What?
words. Yeah, I don't know. The thing just says Schoolgirl's second encore, Good Granny, Black Dahlia, alternate voice pack, trailer.
I'm frightened.
Are you not done with the gilfs?
No, I'm not.
Oh yeah, going back to Tekken for a bit. They also announced Nina Williams. Her new outfit is dumb. I don't like it. Go back. This is the second game in a row where her outfit sucks. Cool.
I will definitely take this over her showing up to every fight in the middle of her wedding.
Yeah, it's better. It's better than her Tekken 7 outfit, but it's worse than every other outfit she's had. So.
Oh, I mean, the overwhelming majority of games she had the fucking same outfit.
True.
Like, it's... I mean, I don't really have an opinion on it. I think the little cleavage window is goofy, but at least it's classy, which feels like Nina. With that said, I always thought Anna was supposed to be the one who, out of them, relied on sex appeal.
Yeah. And I also just like from a pure like outfit standpoint, the top doesn't go with the bottom. Like either be a leather jacket biker chick or have a dress. The two together don't work.
That part I'm fine with that outfit. I think it's just part of the new thing of everyone in Tekken wears a big leather jacket.
Was that a thing?
Well, not necessarily now leather, but now everyone in Tekken wears a jacket. There's no way you haven't noticed that. Everyone does.
No, I've noticed that everyone has like a long flowing part of their outfit to show off the physics. But the leather jacket isn't long or flowing.
Yeah.
But yeah, also her new hair certainly is, but that's pretty much where we can leave that conversation off, I think, because neither of us are big into hairstyling.
I can't even remember what the hair looked like, so...
She had a bob.
I don't remember having a problem with it.
Like, it's for me, it's one of those things where, like, any of these pieces for this new outfit could work, but not together. You got Nina's new outfit into 3 parts. Any of them can work, but not together. But yeah, then Punch Planet added golden hits, which is a just frame mechanic.
Punch Planet. Oh, right, that game. That game actually looks cool. I need to actually get around to picking it up whenever I have money.
It allows combos that weren't possible before, and that's all that was said.
Cool.
And I think, oh no, this one I accidentally skipped. So yeah, Yomi Hustle, or by the new name, your only move is Hustle. So Yomi Hustle has released.
Yeah. What the fuck is that game? I keep hearing people talk about it, and I don't know what it is.
But it is described as a turn-based, frame-perfect, high-precision indie fighting game.
Oh, it's the turn-based fighting game, right? I thought that was a card game.
No, there's like 8 of them coming out. Turn-based fighting games.
Right, because it keeps being it's trying to figure out a way to make fighting games for people who don't play fighting games.
Yeah. Like there's this one, which is I think one of the first ones that actually like succeeded somewhat. Then there's also the one with Germa. And I think that I've heard at least with 2 others being in development.
I mean, that's gonna be cool for a lot of people.
Yeah. Also, I guess as a side note, or I don't know, that technically I suppose it's fighting game related, but I don't think so. But it's here, so whatever. Fuck it. Rumbleverse got shut down. Cool.
Why is that cool?
Eh. I just don't see.
Is it just part of your? Is it just like, yeah, fuck it, it's a games as a service?
No, it's. I don't know how. Like, I don't know how much Rumbleverse has to do with fighting games. It's all.
Well, it sucks. I heard it was a cool game.
Yeah. Like I've seen gameplay of it. It looked like Fortnite. What a surprise.
It looked like Fortnite if Fortnite knew how to have fun.
Yeah. I don't know, because some of the basic mechanics of Fortnite just turned me off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like battle royals will never be for me.
I mean, it's not even just battle royals. It's the whole thing of like, all right, you have fuck all, and now go and scavenge the map so that you may find like a legendary brass knuckles that deals 5 damage. Cool. Good value of my time.
If you don't like RPGs, you don't like RPGs.
So that's all the news. I do have a couple of topics.
What's that?
So, first one. This, I think, will be a short one. Because I'm pretty sure we both agree on this, at least partially. But someone posted a thing saying that I'm trying to get the picture because it's of course a meme argument. You know the ones. But yeah. So someone posted this picture with the caption "Namco backed the wrong horse."
They bagged it or banged it?
Backed.
Backed the wrong horse. Okay. Thought you were talking about having sex with horses.
No.
Confused. Oh, reading Soul Calibur's lore, reading Tekken's lore. That is absolutely true. At the end of the day, like, Tekken had a fun seeming story up until about they brought Kazuya back.
Now here's the thing though. While the meme may be true at the same time, Namco backed the wrong horse. Did it really? Get out.
It's
you know.
okay. Just getting in dunks against Witcher aside, they backed the wrong horse in terms of Soul Calibur's design philosophy went off the fucking rails badly. But okay, so here's the thing, right? I grew up with Soul Calibur. I'm very nostalgic for Soul Calibur. So I am not going to have a fair perspective on this. Nostalgia influences me quite a bit. I did not play Tekken as a kid. The first Tekken game I played was like a couple minutes of Tekken 5, and beyond that, like, Tekken 2 was really where I started. But at the end of the day, Soul Calibur at its peak, from the first game to the end of Soul Calibur 2, I think everyone could agree. Soul Calibur 3, I think, is quite a bit more controversial with anyone that isn't you or me. I think Soul Calibur at its peak was better than Tekken at its peak.
I disagree, but then you also have to consider that I have a bias against the medieval aesthetic, because I think it's boring as all sin.
But to put what is more important here, so, from the perspective of a dude on Reddit, dudes on Reddit are entirely pro-consumer. They do not care what happens to the company. Bamco can eat shit and die, and the Japanese fucking government can send all of the people in it to prison for debt or whatever, they don't care. The consumer does not care as long as they get the video game they wanted. However, at the end of the day, beyond the interests of guy on Reddit who is passionate about fighting games, Tekken was always going to be the one that sold better because it is one, modern day, which appeals to more people. Two, it's martial arts. It's going to be more cool for more people. You can run at Tekken at various points relatively realistic looking martial arts fights, and then they kept adding on super moves and shit. I have to assume at some point there's going to be a point where they start losing money on this because they start losing out on the appeal of realistic martial arts that Tekken has had in the past, but nonetheless. Anyways, at the end of the day, I think Soul Calibur was always going to be niche just by nature of fantasy and medieval history is seen as nerdy stuff for nerdy virgin dorks. Game of Thrones was able to get around that by having loads of sex and politics, but that's still kind of a little bit of a thing. It's not as much as it used to, but it's still a little bit of a thing of like even nerds who are into nerdy stuff will still tend to either be very pro fantasy and medieval stuff or very much not, which includes yourself, where you're very much for modern day stuff. You're not a big fan of fantasy or sci-fi, correct?
Yeah, I like I like low sci-fi. Yeah, that is the best way I can put it, and I like fantasy that takes from other historical times than than medieval.
Which, I mean, Soul Calibur did. Soul Calibur did have quite a bit of, like, you're specifically referring to medieval Europe, of course.
Yeah.
But Soul Calibur did take a lot from medieval China, medieval Japan, and even a bit of Renaissance. Cervantes is there packing heat. He could not exist in the medieval period because they didn't have pistols back in that time. What little guns they did have in medieval times were a lot shittier than that. And not nearly as nicely compact and carryable.
And then a sword.
Yeah, very important sword. So at the end of the day, for me, if I could have picked for Soul Calibur to have the big, nice sequels and to have got a good couple more good games after Soul Cal 2, and then like Tekken kind of turned into a bunch of games I don't like, I would have picked Soul Cal over Tekken. I think either of them would have inevitably turned into a direction I didn't want. Soul Calibur turned into that direction much sooner. Soul Calibur 3, I was happier with Soul Calibur 3 than most people. Soul Calibur 4, oh, I'm not liking this. Soul Calibur 5, okay, there's a couple neat things here, but oh boy, this is trouble. Soul Cal 6, okay, I respect that in a lot of ways this is a return to form, but boy, it just kind of feels soulless.
Yeah, and like,
also, we don't need super moves.
Yeah. And then like...
I know this is a big thing, but this is what I want out of the series.
Yeah. Like, I was gonna say, oh well, just based off of the characters, I would have to go with Tekken, but then I actually thought about it. No, like this is one of Bamco's weaknesses. I honestly don't think that either Soul Calibur's or Tekken's characters are all that interesting. Like
it would depend on the character. I think Soul Calibur's got some wimps. I don't think anyone cares about Rock that much.
Like, but other than that, overall, even when I think about the characters that I like in both of the series, I just go, well, I don't like them as much as characters from other series. Like, if I had to rank the characters that I like in different fighting game series, I would put both Soul Calibur and Tekken characters fairly low.
Yeah. I think, like, Soul Cal I would put probably... Soul Cal, the issue is that by nature of trying to be more grounded, the character movesets are generally not so over the top and iconic. With that said, Soul Calibur's individual characters' stories, up until Soul Cal 3, I think are more interesting than Tekken. I think Siegfried is a much more interesting main character than Kazuya. Don't get me wrong, I love that Kazuya is a piece of shit, and if you gave him a puppy, he'd snap the puppy's neck just on principle. But at the end of the day, Siegfried's a more interesting character because he became an awful person and then came back from the brink and tried to prevent what happened to him from happening to anyone else. But he, again, is tempted by Soul Calibur, and who knows if Soul Calibur has any better intentions than Soul Edge just because it's the opposite sword to Soul Edge, and so on and so forth. Yeah, like, at the end of the day, the Soul Calibur side cast, beyond just the core cast of, Siegfried and Nightmare and whoever, is full of a lot of characters who actually have things to do other than just LOL, me and Paul Phoenix and Martial Law are going on goofy adventures, let's go hijinks.
Yeah, like the Soul Calibur characters have more to do. But like if we're going from a strictly like, memorability thing, like people always bring up, oh well, Akuma is just reskinned Ryu. And in a sense, yes. But you look at Akuma and you go, that guy's fucking evil, which was his design idea, I'm pretty sure. Even though he's not really evil at all, but whatever. Fuck it.
I wouldn't even indulge the person who says Akuma's just a reskinned Ryu. Like, it's a blatant misunderstanding of mechanics and actually how Akuma plays.
Yeah.
We gotta stop making concessions to idiots. Anyways, like, Tekken, this is one of the many things I always bitch about with Tekken every time it comes up. At a certain point, people would think I don't like Tekken. I do. Tekken Tag 2, I think, is a very, very fun game. Lots of fun to pop in and play. And I don't care that all the cast is just up to hijinks, because who cares? It's a non-canon dream game. But with the mainline series, it bugs me that at a certain point, 75% of the cast entered what I think anime fans would call filler arc.
Yeah.
At a certain point, Paul Phoenix stopped having a story. He got that win over Ancient Ogre in Tekken 3, and that was pretty well his career ended. Now he's just showing up.
They tried to give him a story, I guess, in fighting aliens, but they kind of dropped that storyline for some reason.
I wonder why. If anyone on that cast should be fighting aliens, it's fucking Yoshimitsu.
Yoshimitsu is too busy fighting Brian.
Endlessly.
When they remember that he's fighting Brian, mind you.
Like, the only one of these bullshit filler arcs I even vaguely enjoy is Asuka and Lily's, like, fight fucking. Or fuck fighting.
Yeah.
So some days one, some days the other. Like, Soul Cal, and the thing is, Soul Cal also the story went off the rails at a certain point.
I mean, like, I don't know. One of the things for me that also kept me from like enjoying Soul Calibur 6 is that, like, I know some of the lore from Soul Cal 3. I know some of the lore from Soul Cal 2 because I played Soul Cal 2 as well. They did fucking nothing to onboard me into actually giving a shit about the story in Soul Cal 6.
I don't know if there is a story to Soul Cal 6.
There is. There's an entire adventure mode where they have large paragraphs of text. And that's the point my eyes just crossed and I went, I don't care anymore. And then I quit.
The funny thing is, ignoring Soul Cal 6, which I don't know anything about the story, so who knows, but Tekken, it's funny to compare, because Tekken went off the rails in terms of, okay, everyone now has entered filler arc. Soul Cal went off the rails in terms of Soul Cal 5 was just, you know what, fuck this whole cast. We're gonna nuke half of them, replace them with some kids. We're gonna make Killick a deadbeat dad who knocked up Zhanghua and then ran off.
Yeah. He learned it from his favorite manga character, Sasuke Uchiha. Who definitely exists. As a character in Soul Calibur's world.
Okay. So when they say Bamco backed the wrong horse, Bamco, for their own sake, did not back the wrong horse. They backed the right horse. Bamco, for the wider fighting game community, also probably backed the right horse. Soul Cal 6 met some approval, but at the end of the day, it wound up being kind of more of a than anyone was really hoping for, and I think that pretty well confirmed to everybody, okay, Soul Calibur is dead.
Yeah, I mean, like, the main problem with Soul Calibur 6 was that there was too much modern fighting game bullshit tacked on that didn't fit into Soul Calibur for the old heads to like Soul Calibur 6. And
yeah.
it was too much old Soul Calibur for the new people to like Soul Calibur 6.
Yep.
So no one liked it.
It's
Also, Geralt.
you keep saying that, and I don't fucking like The Witcher. I think it's one of the most overrated things ever made ever, period. But I'll take Geralt every day over fucking Darth Vader, Yoda, and Starkiller. And I like all of those characters better than I like Geralt outside of Soul Calibur.
I don't really have an opinion on the Star Wars crossovers just because I didn't play 4. Saved me time.
You saved you Yoda.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Whoever designed Yoda in Soul Calibur 4 needs to be tried at the fucking Hog. Hague, whichever.
Uh, so yeah.
I've made my views known.
Yeah. I think we both have.
Oh, we're gonna keep going on the Soul Cal Tekken thing?
No.
Kinda thought we were done. Okay, there we go. Good.
Then. Let's see. Here's a couple of companion ones. I don't actually know how we should hit this because I have 3 topics that are very similar, but one is the inverse of the other 2. So I guess let's hit that one first. Once I find the exact wording, shit. There it is. What's been your biggest turnoff from a character?
Boy. Well, that's a very nebulous question. I think for you, one I can immediately name because we were just talking about her earlier. How bad of a turnoff was Valentine seeing her gameplay and going, ooh, but then seeing how sexualized she was and going, nah.
I mean, it wasn't really a turn off because I didn't look at her gameplay and go ooh.
I thought you liked her gameplay.
It's generic Chip Zaneth things. Like I like Chip Zaneth, but not enough for me to be wowed when other characters play like him.
Cyrax, I try to play it in every Mortal Kombat game, and I inevitably just run into I can't do bomb combos.
Yeah,
I just don't have it in me.
Too
Maybe one day I'll just set aside a fucking period of 12 hours and just hammer it out as hard as possible. But until then,
yeah, I tried to learn bomb setups, but the thing is, I'm not built for set play. In most cases, it requires too much brain power to be like, all right, so this move knocks people up that way, so I can do a bomb.
I can do that. I can do the like. Well, that comes down to the thing of like you play by going in and practicing on the AI. I play and by going into the. I practice by going into the lab. You practice on the AI. So learning how to set play on the AI as you do it, like learn by doing, is quite a bit harder. So for me, I've not had that problem, and I have played a little bit of set play, not too much, in the games where I'm actually accustomed to it. It's a funny thing. I can play set play characters more or less fine in NetherRealm games because NetherRealm games there are so many knockdowns. But in say Street Fighter or Guilty Gear, I find it way harder just because there's not many hard knockdowns outside of sweep.
Yeah.
Which of course just ties into the wider thing of NetherRealm really likes oppressive offense that you have to work really hard to block, whereas Street Fighter and Guilty Gear, for instance, Guilty Gear likes oppressive offense through rushdown, not set play.
Yeah.
And block pressure. Oh boy. Uh, other than that, I mean, characters that turn me off for aesthetic reasons, there must have been some of those. You go ahead and hit us with some of yours while I try to think on it.
Well, for aesthetic reasons, Bullet.
See, aesthetic interested me more for Bullet. Bullet interested me more for aesthetic reasons. I had my words all turned up there.
Yeah,
Bullet's
yeah.
one of the few visual designs in Blaze Blue I like.
I think she's too much, but then once again, you're straight, I'm not, so.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. I mean, there's so much in Blaze Blue that is anime over design, and Bullet's a simple design, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm horny for Bullet, because Lychee's right there, and I have no interest in Lychee. She's over designed as hell. Like, Lychee's visuals, I think, are disgusting.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not referring to her boobs, but I'm referring to just. Can we have less going on here, please?
I mean, that's also the thing of, like, from my memory, Lychee's design is actually boring when you take away her being sexualized.
Over-designed characters are always boring looking. Are you joking? I mean, it's the same thing why I'll look at Azrael. And Azrael, I've always had a heart. Blaze Blue, there's several characters that I look at and like, oh, like Hazama, Azrael, both are characters that it's like, okay, I like this character design, but then I get in the gameplay and there's just something about him I'm not getting. Like, the issue with Blaze Blue is that the only character in that game I really super gel with, the only characters, plural, in that game that I think I really super gel with and their gameplay feels natural for me, are Tager and Taukaka. I like Taukaka well enough, but I don't love her. Tager, I feel dirty playing.
Yeah. But I guess it also depends on what kind of overdesign it is, because I love Kingdom Hearts. I think Nomura, like, I like Nomura's style, Nomura's sense of style, because he overdesigns characters in a way that's fun for me. I'm not gonna say that it's good design, but it's loud in a very stylistic way. Blaze Blue, in comparison to that, to me, is just very boring and generic anime over-designed stuff.
And Nomura can at least do it in a way that's wacky and enjoyable. Blaze Blue characters visually blend together for me. Like, when I look at, like, Nomura's designs, Lulu, for instance, in Final Fantasy X. Okay, don't look at her cleavage. Don't think about her cleavage. Think about the dress she is wearing made out of belts. Literally nothing but belts. Thousands of belts. That is ridiculous, stupid. I love it.
Yeah, then there's also, like, certain ways or stuff that he uses that other stuff also used in other places. I will call things out. That's why I'm being vague. But that I like that I know you didn't. Like, for example, in 3D, Sora has a somewhat like Sora has a shuffled color scheme from his Kingdom Hearts 2 outfit, and he has a red X on his shirt for some reason, which is a plot reason.
Oh, never mind Sora design so gross.
But yeah, like, I like that design because I think the X on the shirt contrast, or I don't even know what words to say, but I think it lines up with the rest of the outfit to make it look good. But then at the same time, you have to keep in mind, I also like the cross shirt design for Kyo. So
that one's not nearly as over designed though.
It's not.
Also,
but it's the same. It's the same line.
Also, it looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous because it looks like he's wearing the flag of Scotland.
Which one?
Well, the classic blue cross on blue X on white background.
Oh, Kyo, yeah.
The Sora, I'm a big fan of the original Sora design, which was clearly what if Mickey Mouse was an anime boy. Past that, I think I'm more or less fine with the Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3 designs. They just look like kind of what I would expect an older, more mature Sora to look like.
Yeah. Oh, I looked at the design from Danger of Distance. It's just it's Kingdom. It's sort of Kingdom. Like it's what if you took the fucking lines from Kyo from 2002 to Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora, kinda.
Okay. You know what's the really stupid design in Kingdom Hearts that I love, ironically?
What?
Donald with the fucking zipper hat.
Yeah. You see,
That one.
I like those because they're weird. Like, well, no, I like Goofy's design because it's weird and doesn't make any sense. Donald kind of just looks like Donald if he was designed by Nomura, which is exactly what that is.
It's looking at it from a non-ironic perspective, it is a terrible design because it makes no sense. Looking at it from an ironic design, it's hilarious.
I don't know. Like, for me, it's a thing of like, if Donald just looked like that in a Disney short, I would be like, why? But considering the rest of the world and how mishmashy it is, for me it makes sense. It fits in. For me, the actual like court wizard and court guardian outfit that they wear is more out of place because it actually makes sense for the roles they have, and you spend so much time looking at them being in this fucking civilian outfits, doing stuff with Stora. And you just go, why? Or at least I go, why?
Yeah, you're alone on that one.
But yeah. So turn-offs for me. Well, moveset wise, Giovanna. I wanted to call her Giorno. But no, that's a different Giovanna. Giovanna in Strive. I made her in Strive when during the beta because I really liked her design. Yeah?
Your turn off is lack of moves.
Yeah.
Like when a fighting game designer says, "Okay, I wanted to make a character who has only 2 special moves, but they're really good multi-situational special moves." That's when you like do the image of the guy at NASA or whatever throwing his headphones off and go, "Fuck."
Well, that's the thing. Like, at least if they were multi-situational, at least they have use. In Giovanna's case, you have 3 specials that all have one very specific use case, maybe 2 at most. And that's your kit.
Giovanna's not garbage.
She's not garbage, she's just a very flowcharty character. Like, even at higher levels, from what I understand.
Well, that's just kind of the problem with Guilty Gear Strive's gameplay design.
Yeah, but...
For anyone not named Soul or Potemkin or Happy Chaos.
Well, yeah, but you know, it's a thing of like, I think Giovanna exemplifies this because when I think of the other new characters, like I'm forgetting his name. Shit. The new samurai guy. Nagoriyuki, there we go.
Nago.
Yeah. Like Nagoriyuki has variation in his moveset. He doesn't have a lot of specials, but he can use them in certain different ways. He can do combos or he can just, poke and do stuff that way. Gold Lewis is a meme. Like Gold Lewis has all of the behemoth typhoons. Giovanna has a flowchart that once you figure out, you're probably not getting beat. Like Giovanna is just the most striviest Strive character, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And then...
Oh, you know...
Yeah? Yeah?
No, that's not it. I won't say that one because that's not a fair example. Okay, you know what's a turnoff for me?
Yeah?
Fighting game characters whose special moves feel like normals.
Yeah.
Like that, it's difficult to put words to it. I can't immediately recall someone that I'd point to as a case of it. But a character whose special moves is just kind of like... Gen feels like that for me a lot of days.
Yeah, Gen feels like that. Makoto feels like that.
You know, I don't have that problem with Makoto, actually.
I do.
Like for me, Makoto, I always think of as a command grab character, and then she's got the big charge up punch.
Yeah, I guess it's just a difference of playstyle, because I think of Makoto, and I don't really think of her command grab. I think of the charge up punch, and I think of all of her specials that look and feel like normals.
Yeah. There's
I-
got to be a KOF character that's really guilty of that.
Yeah, there's definitely has to be at least one. Jun, I guess. He's the closest that comes to mind immediately for me.
Okay, I'm having a brain fart. Who is Jun?
The guy who is, I think, Kim's rival in 2002.
You know,
stance switch character.
The stance switch dude. He had so many million of things he could do out of the stances that I thought he was actually kind of a funny character. On Hell's kind of in that category.
Yeah. On Hell's definitely in that category until you learn her entire moveset.
Yeah. Until you actually get the chain down. Then suddenly she becomes a very different character.
Yeah.
Like, On Hell is one of those hard gimmick characters of, do you know how to do this one thing? If you don't play this character. If you do, okay, good, you can now play. Like, she's in the same space as, what's Rose's apprentice chick in Street Fighter 5?
I know the character, but I don't know her name.
I can never remember her name.
Minat,
she just has a
Minat, I think.
Minat, right, Minat. That is just a very unmemorable name for some reason. Minat, like, if you don't know her orb setups, first of all, you don't get to use her V triggers at all. Fuck you. Second of all, like, she can still somewhat be used without orb setups, but it's like, you're just a character with really long-range normals, but there are other characters in Street Fighter V who can do that kind of screen control better than her anyways.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, it's like, okay, if you're just doing it for that and you don't do orb setups, just play Dhalsim instead.
Yeah. Weird how three of the four we've come up with are Street Fighter characters.
Street Fighter is a pretty big example of, like, here are some characters you really love, and they are such strong archetypes that every other fighting game in the genre is going to imitate them. Here's some characters you want nothing to do with.
I feel like there's a character from Mortal Kombat who was bad about that in the newer games. I know for a fact that there were at least two people in like the 3D era.
I haven't played Mortal Kombat X seriously in probably 6 or 7 years now, so I didn't really understand fighting games back then. I don't really understand them now, I guess, but nonetheless, I was very confused by Tremor and what the fuck there was with Tremor that made him special.
Yeah.
Which is weird because to my understanding, Tremor is considered, as of right now,
the OPS
after several patches. Yeah, he's supposed to be the top tier character now that Alien has been nerfed.
If memory serves, his thing is that he has good zoning, and he also has a state for one of his variations where he just doesn't take damage for like a move. And you combine those two, and you get a very annoying character.
I can see where that would be the case, yes.
But yeah, like from the 3D era, Hotaru, I forget, whichever. I think Hotaru had specials that were actually just normals.
I couldn't tell you what Hotaru's specials were to save my life. When you make me think of Order Realm, I think of Dairu and Darius. Like, yeah. Well, I can think of Hotaru's visual design. I like Hotaru's visual design. But special move-wise, when I think of Deception special moves, I just get PTSD flashbacks from Dairu's corpse drop.
Yeah. I was also gonna say Lee May, but then I remembered, oh yeah, the reason I remember Lee May is because her animations were very stinky.
Oh, Lee May had that wacky, like, flip kick thing where she just swiveled on her hip like a mad woman. Yeah.
So Lee May doesn't have the normal specials, but she's memorable in another way.
You know, toilet humor is also a pretty big turnoff for a character.
Yeah.
Because Baraicho, I can't play Baraicho in the 3D era games. He's just too, like, childish.
Yeah, like
Mortal Kombat X, I can play Baraicho just fine, but that's because Baraicho has plenty of non-toilet humor legit moves in Mortal Kombat X.
yeah, I'd say it depends. Like it depends on who the character is and why the toilet humor is in. Which is to say, I don't like Borracho either, because he's a grown ass man who's fucking an alcoholic, and that's why he's gassed. I guess I can take the toilet humor better from like animal characters, so like Gon or Iggy in JoJo's. Iggy's grab is that he farts on your face because that's a thing that he did in the show,
Of
and like
course.
and like I'll allow that one move, considering the entire rest of his moveset isn't tied to toilet humor.
Yeah, I mean, like, Baraicho's also just a really funny one because the toilet humor doesn't fit his actual role in the story.
Yeah.
Because Baraicho in a match is like, haha, funny poo poo pee pee, haha, burp. But, like, the actual, like, role Baraicho has in the story is one of the more wise and mature characters who has trained most of the big badasses in the universe.
Yeah, like Boraicho in story is an actual master. Boraicho in gameplay is if you ask that to describe fat people.
Yeah, pretty well. Ted wants Ed Boon dead because he put Baraicho in Mortal Kombat.
Ah,
Ted wants God dead because he put fat people in the world.
yeah.
Ted's going to become the real world fucking Kratos because of fat people.
I thought you were gonna say he'll stick at Chronica. Take the hourglass.
No! God, no! No! No, 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 no! No, no! No! Man, fuck the Mortal Kombat 11 story. I have to play through the damn Aftermath thing to get costumes for most of the characters, and it's just like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I went to. I wanna say. Yeah. Go ahead.
I've seen one part of the Aftermath cutscenes. It is the part that made me go, oh, NetherRealm, fuck you.
Is it Melina? Not Melina. Is it Sindel?
No, it's Kodal.
Ah, Kodal. Yes.
That was just explicitly, we don't like this character. We don't like anyone who likes this character. We think it's funny to dunk on this character.
Here, have some more Devora.
Devora, I'm fine with. She's a wrestling heel. She's built to be hateable. I kind of like that she's so hateable and such a prick.
To me, she generates Xbox heat for me. Every time Devora is on screen, I want to turn the game off.
If she had just killed Melina and just continued to be a shit heel, I don't think people would have had that much of an issue with her. It's the decision to have her kill the original Scorpion.
Yeah.
Which was so just needless. Like, okay, like Mortal Kombat X was entirely devoted to making Scorpion feel like a real character and not just Quan Chi, Sub-Zero. Oh! And we're just gonna piss it away.
Look, we can't have Scorpion be relatable. He needs to go to Mephisto and give his unborn child to Mephisto so that Mary Jane can come back.
I was just about to fucking say Scorpion's in the Spider-Man territory of he's not allowed to develop as a character. Like, the thing that gets me is the brand value of Spider-Man being a young single man who has a shitty love life and has no kids and has no job and he's perpetually poor and he has 8 million girlfriends and they're all abusive of him psychologically. Like, okay, I can see where the Marvel marketers would be like, okay, we can't have a happily married Spider-Man or with a decent job, decent pay, kids. He's got the core of Spider-Man's character is his life sucks, he's dirt poor, his job sucks, his girlfriend is emotionally manipulative. Okay. But like Scorpion at the end of the day is a iconic character for being a yellow ninja who throws a spear on a rope and lights on fire.
And being angry.
Having Scorpion be emotionally mature in the storyline does not remove his ability to be yellow, to throw a spear, and to breathe fire.
I like this idea that once Scorpion mellows out, he just stops being yellow.
Like, yeah, the moment he forgave Sub-Zero in the storyline, his suit just turned gray.
I'm Smoke now, he said.
Smoke in the background, you know, like, no! He turns yellow. God damn it, I'm angry now. I don't even know what I'm angry about.
His head turns to fire. So what used to be Smoke becomes the new Scorpion. And then the old Scorpion turning into the new Smoke explains why he had the fucking spear in 3.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Also, talking about the back down, talk about Mortal Kombat 9 actually making the really interesting idea of like, okay, what if Smoke didn't get turned into a robot? But then Mortal Kombat X was like, yeah, but what if Smoke did get turned into a robot anyways?
Yeah. What if Cyrex and Sector were big parts of the story, but were not on the roster at all?
Mortal Kombat 11, yeah, that's pretty bad.
The best part is, if memory serves,
he's still got the Triborg moveset.
Yeah, Ketchup and or Mustard. I forget which one. Modded them into MK11 as playable characters, and they have movesets. Not full ones, but they have movesets.
Oh, Mortal Kombat X was the same situation. Sindel and Baraka were both in the files as playable characters. They just weren't finished. And like I specifically remember, like the fight with Baraka, I was kind of like, okay, I can see why they'd include a cursory little Baraka here and then job him out, whatever. That's Baraka's job in the story until Mortal Kombat 11, thankfully. But then I was so confounded when the Jax versus fucking zombie Sindel fight starts. And it's like, okay, why did we go to the work for a single zombie Sindel appearance? Could we not have just jobbed out zombie Kung Lao one more time?
Yeah. I also just want to note about the MK11 story. Like, I started playing through it to get skins, like you. I want to say halfway through the story, and I was just so bored to tears that I went, no. I turned off the game.
Like,
I booted up YouTube and instead just watched the rest of the cutscenes.
It's just going through the motions at this point. They badly need to throw something else in there to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it can't just be whatever, keep doing the same fights against the AI, even though the AI doesn't even vaguely understand how to play.
We need Onaga back.
Well, I mean, it's also like, it's hard to keep up with caring about that plot, because there's a couple neat things they do with Mortal Kombat 11's plot. The Kotal Khan Jade romance is sweet. Seeing Baraka get to actually be a character who is important and matters to the story is fun. Katana taking over as the new Khan of Outworld, that's cool. Shiva being a relatively noble and decent person.
Shiva actually being a character.
The cool thing about Mortal Kombat X and 11 is the change of Outworld from just LOL Saturday morning cartoon villains to like, no, this is actually a world full of peoples with their own politics. The only reason they were such evil dicks for so much of the story was because Shao Kahn made them be dicks.
Yeah.
Like Baraka, Kotal Khan, and Shiva are all great signs about the people are all great, you know, takes on making the people of Outworld be actual people. And it's so weird because Mortal Kombat 11 in a gameplay, Baraka in Mortal Kombat 11 gameplay is at his most monstrous and horrific ever. Yeah. While in the story, he's at his most human.
No, he's civilized. He has a flag.
Oh, yeah. He also stole Melina's gimmick of eating people.
Yeah.
That's the one that gets me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe this is just my crazy headcanon, but I was kind of figured Baraka was like vegetarian or something. Could you imagine how much fun that would be?
Yeah, that would be funny. I'm also just
Especially like if the
yeah.
other Tarkatans call him a pussy over it and he kills them.
Yeah.
What character
I
is
also,
there in Mortal Kombat?
yeah, go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, there are some times where I pick up smoke in Mortal Kombat, in some Mortal Kombat games, and go, no, this character ain't me.
Yeah.
Okay, there's gotta be a character in Injustice. Weird input motions can do it for some characters. It can be a real problem for some characters.
Yeah.
Like, I can have a lot of issues in Mortal Kombat and Injustice based on how much do I actually need to use the back to forward motion.
Yeah.
Cyborg was really bad about that in Injustice. His main projectile, which is a pretty good projectile, is on back to forward, and his main maneuvering ability, you know, the zip line, hook claw, whatever it is on down to up, and down up is always a problem.
Yeah.
And like I can accept down up as the motion for Raiden with the teleport, because it's like, okay, make it difficult but rewarding, because Raiden's teleport is super good in every game. But it feels more awkward when it's a less good move, you know?
Yeah. Or noobs teleport, holy shit.
Yeah, uh-huh.
But yeah, like I guess for NetherRealm games with characters, I guess my biggest turn off in NetherRealm games was Flash. Because I love Flash. From what I hear, Ed Boon also loves Flash. Flash should have a good moveset, but he doesn't. He's just
The
not
trouble
fun.
is that
Yeah.
Flash's really cool moves are out of the running man stance, so you just have to get used to using that, and it's so weird.
Yeah. Like he just didn't click with me. But then again, but then again, that's also like all of Injustice, both games for the most part. Like I play Martian Manhunter and Zatanna in spite of not really liking how they play, because I like the characters.
Yeah, I'm in the same space with Martian Manhunter, and it's especially awkward because he's the most OP character in the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's the funny thing about watching, like, Say-Jam videos, for instance, and he'll talk about how he first got in with Injustice 1. And he just will talk about, yeah, I put in a lot of work to be a Nightwing main, and then they released Martian Manhunter. And I was just so mad, because everything I had to work for with Nightwing, Martian Manhunter just gets so easily.
Ah. And then yeah, in Injustice 2, I just don't have characters. Like I played Green Arrow and Harley when we played like 40 years ago.
It feels like 40 years ago. Fuck me, that was on the other side of COVID.
Yeah.
Injustice 1 and 2, I think, both have very fun characters, but also a lot of characters that feel like they're badly missing.
I mean, just from a gameplay standpoint, none of Injustice's character designs interest me. Like none of them feel good to use. None of them are particularly fun.
Yeah, I got some guys in there, but I think Injustice also has a lot of very weak character designs. Like, I think NetherRealm knows that, because Joker in Mortal Kombat 11 pretty well looks nothing like Joker in Injustice.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's no way in hell they're going to just straight up port over Joker from Mortal Kombat 11 to Injustice 3, because there are several moves he has in Mortal Kombat 11 that cannot work in a game that is not M-rated.
Ah.
Have you seen some of the hostage moves that Joker has?
No.
So there's one particular custom move Joker has where he pulls out a little button, and as long as he holds that button out, a hostage who is bound, has their wrists and ankles bound, and has a bomb collar around their neck, hops across the screen as long as you hold the button, and when you release it, their head explodes.
Ah.
He's got another one where he's got a bombed up hostage in a wheelchair that he picks up and swings as a weapon, and when he's done, the guy explodes.
Ah.
They
Nice.
can't put those in as moves in Injustice.
I mean, the hopping one they could recontextualize and make it work. The second one, I'm not sure how much the explosion, how much of a part the explosion plays in the move.
Well, I'm sure they can make moves that are imitations of it, but not using hostages that explode into showers of gore.
Yeah, like you just reanimate, slightly reanimate it, and it's fine. Like, you know, instead of the hostages head exploding, it's just like shoots out smoke or laughing gas, and then he just falls down, disappears.
Something like that. Or just have it be like a Jack in the Box hops along instead of a hostage.
Yeah.
Either which way, I think we both have vague understandings of the kinds of characters that turn us off, but I think we're both kind of failing to come up with really super strong examples of what really turns either of us off from a character here.
Yeah, because it also depends on what you're looking for. Like gameplay wise, it's mostly like move stuff. Aesthetics wise,
Yeah.
it very much depends. Like I am turned off all of Killer Instinct because none of the characters seem interesting aesthetically to me. So like, you know.
Yeah, Killer Instinct has a 90s Halloween aspect to it, right?
Yeah.
Mid 90s. Like, it's very much trying to be a product of a past time, which I think is fun. But nonetheless, if you are not into that, then that game has almost nothing to offer you in terms of character aesthetics.
Yeah.
And I think I do like when they do go for that properly, though, because, for instance, like, if I get to show you RoboCop in Mortal Kombat 11 later today, RoboCop has a lot, like, RoboCop feels like, and has a lot of looks that are like he's an 80s action figure.
Ah.
Which makes sense. It's RoboCop.
No, at that point it's Robert Cop.
That you're right.
In fact, it's
Where's the
Robert
deathmatch?
Cop 2. Yeah.
Where's the deathmatch between Robert Cop and Panther?
Ah. Where is the deathmatch triple threat between Robert Cop, Panturk, and Bat Hero
Yeah.
that we all deserve?
Oh boy.
The problem is if we talk about bootleg toys is that I actually follow a guy who reviews them because they're funny.
They are legitimately very funny.
So
Like,
yeah.
Bootlegs and Obvious Plant, both are just classics.
Yeah. I think my favorite is still for bootlegs is still the one where it was a bootleg Ninja Turtle figure collection, and Mikey had a pentagram on his head, like on the top of his head, for no reason. And the paint job was also very sloppy, so it just made him look demonic.
Nice.
But yeah, so fighting games.
I gotta mention this
Yeah.
real quick, just because I'm thinking about it, and I'll probably forget about mentioning it later.
Go ahead.
Shout out to the NetherRealm for actually giving a couple of the characters on the Mortal Kombat 11 cast unique anatomies. Because I just saw a fatality where someone disemboweled RoboCop, and like instead of intestines, he just had like nylon cables,
Nice.
like the kind you would actually find inside a computer.
Yeah.
And if Terminator gets skinned, he doesn't have a skeleton. He doesn't have a human skeleton. He has a endoskeleton. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I saw like they kind of missed a small mark because they in the pit, or not the pit. I forget the name of the level from MK2, but you know the acid bath level. I saw the stage fatality there with Terminator, and instead of the normal skeleton, it was just the Terminator. But they kind of missed a chance to have him raise his arm up and
do the thumbs up.
do the thumbs up while going into the acid.
That There's only one character in the history of the Mortal Kombat series that they've gone to the trouble of giving a unique animation for receiving some fatalities. Do you know what that
Kratos.
is? Kratos. Because it was a Sony mandate, don't ever have Kratos look scared.
Yeah.
So anytime any other character would be scared, Kratos gets pissed. And the one I can always think of is, of course, the Ermac fatality in Mortal Kombat 9 where he shrinks the opponent and then steps on them, right?
Yeah.
Every other opponent, after getting shrunk, then starts screaming and running in circles until Ermac steps on them. Kratos, though, roars and does the classic, Blades of Chaos out, roar at the heavens, "Come at me, Titan!" And then Ermac just steps on him.
Yeah.
Which would have been a much more underwhelming but hilarious way for it to go down in God of War. And that kind of is how it goes down a couple times in God of War.
Yeah, but it's fake outs. Because he's Spider-Man. We have to have the scene where
Kratos
he's
does
lifting up something
legitimately
heavy up.
die, it's just that he walks it off.
Yeah. But yeah,
Man,
so
the thing I can never
yeah.
get used to in this game with Mortal Kombat 11 is changing character outfit colors. Because I just saw, like, Scarlet come on. But she's all up in blue, so I saw her and I was like, oh, it's Katana. And then she did the intro where she pulls the blood out of a monk.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, Katana's looking different.
Yeah, for me that's one of the bits that I like. The thing that I don't like is how much it's tied to outfits. As in, like, you can't have brown pants. If you don't want to have a shirt with Kano, I don't know. I'm saying stuff because I don't have a specific example. But yeah, you can't have brown pants as Kano if you don't also want to have a shirt, because we only have shirt outfits that have brown pants. And it's a small nitpick, but it's it's still a bother.
Yeah. Yeah. Either which way, what were you about to say before I so rudely interrupted you about Kitana pulling out people's blood?
Yeah. Well, to continue along similar lines, but the opposite, there were two questions raised, which are the same question, but just gendered differently. So, who are the coolest female and male fighting game characters, in your opinion?
Okay, so cool, are we just saying just like you generally like them, or cool as in, like, that's a cool dude?
I'm not sure. I mean, the one for women specifies coolest looking, but the one for men doesn't. So, like, I figured it can go in any direction, really.
I think, like, one very solid contender is Johnny from Guilty Gear, as long as you forget about the SS pedo boat.
Yeah.
Beyond him, let's see. I mean, of course, there's several games where Scorpion and Sub-Zero are pretty slick. And now, of course, I forget, are you a big fan of Samurai Sub-Zero from Deception?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
That's a pretty big winner. I'm also a fan of Deception's look for Scorpion.
I'm gonna have to look it up, but I genuinely don't think I've liked pretty much any Scorpion outfit. It's kind of vowish.
A little bit. The shoulder pads are a bit much, I'll agree, but I do like the face mask and the swords on the back.
I like that he has a belt wrapped around his legs. Very cool. Very very functional.
Yeah. Let's see. There's several cool dudes from KOF. Iori is cool.
Yeah. I mean, Terry is cool, but in a different way. Like, Iori's...
Terry's a little bit of a goof. I think Terry's too much of a goof to be cool.
I mean, once again, that depends on the definition. If you're talking about cool looking or, like, cool aura, then yeah, Terry's too much of a goof. If you're talking about that guy's cool, as in, like, a good person, Terry beats Iori, but not by much.
Oh, if we're talking chill is different from cool, and
Yeah.
Iori is not chill.
Iori is the opposite of chill.
Iori is quite the prick.
Well, that also depends, because, like, he's an asshole to people. He also apparently spends his time just feeding strays, like cats.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying, like, necessarily that he's a bad person, but you can be a bad person and be cool or be chill. You can be a good person and be a dick.
Yeah.
Iori's a dick.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see, who else is really just cool in KOF? Kyo can come near cool a little bit, but I think out of his trio, Benimaru is the cool one.
I think it depends on the design, because the jacket Kyo, I think, is cool. School outfit Kyo, not as much.
Yeah. And then Daimon's just a dorky dad.
Yeah. Daimon is there because we need a third person to fill the roster.
Daimon is there because we need somebody to prevent Kyo and Benimaru from getting up to too much antics.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a cheating one, but Dante from Marvel.
Yeah.
Raphael in Soul Cal, he's cool.
It depends on the game. It depends on how much the racial storyline has progressed in the game.
Yeah. When I think of Raphael, I think of Soul Cal 2 and 3 Raphael.
Yes, so do I.
Soul Cal 4 Raphael is a dork.
Yeah, like, so do I. I also think of Soul Calibur 2 and 3 Raphael, so to me he's cool. But then I remember, oh yeah, there were games after those.
Like, Soul Cal 2 Raphael is one of the coolest ever. But, boy, it's, around the time he became Goofy Vampire, mwahaha, yeah, the cool factor was gone.
Yeah. I can't believe we haven't said Rugal.
Rugal, I feel like, is too hammy to be cool. He's in the same category, like he's a little bit of a dork for a bad guy, you know?
Yeah.
Bison's, I think, in the same category. Like, I think there's a degree of, like, you can even be visually hammy without being a hammy personality, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, another one from Soul Cal, I think Ivy is really cool. Even though her outfits are gauche and hammy as hell, I think her personality and her confidence are very cool.
I guess. Rock's
pretty cool. Let's see. There's got to be several cool guys from Tekken.
Horan post-eye surgery. I don't know.
Yeah. How wrong's a little bit difficult to say. Yeah, I'd say How Wrong is probably fairly cool. Martial Law's a dork, but I think Forest Law's on the edge of being cool. Martial Law's one of the gooberiest characters in fighting games. Him and Paul are just the Goober brothers at this point.
Yeah.
Nina is cool.
All right,
Nina has always been cool.
I'm gonna do a cheating one. Lee Cholon in his backstory. But only in his backstory.
You know, I think when he's not doing his Violet antics, Lee now is cool. Tekken 7 Lee is definitely cool. Well, Tekken 7 Lee is also chill, though, and chill adds to the cool factor.
I don't know. To me, Tekken 7 Lee is doing too much of the Violet antics. Like
I'm just thinking of the story, the plot line. You know?
Yeah. Plotline wise, yeah. But like
Dragonov is cool.
Yeah.
It depends on the Marduk, I guess. The more evil Marduk definitely isn't cool. Okay, he's an asshole, but fuck him, Rom. Fakum Ram and Sagat, I think, are in the same category of they don't even have to be wearing anything cool at all. They don't have to be acting cool. They are just guaranteed cool.
Heal Armor King.
Armor King, yeah. Armor King's pretty cool. We haven't been hitting many cool chicks.
Yeah. I mean, women aren't generally. Women aren't really allowed to be cool. Sadly, we're getting better about it, but still.
Yeah. This is a weird pick, especially considering her frozen age. But Rachel. Rachel's cool. Melina's not cool.
Not Melina. I said Nina.
Oh, Nina. No, Rachel is cool.
Rachel is cool.
Even though she's forever stuck a 12-year-old, she's still very cool.
Rachel is cool as long as as long as we're not talking about fucking Ragnar. That's my stipulation.
Slayer beats out Johnny. Slayer's the epitome of cool for the Guilty Gear series.
I guess.
I mean, Guilty Gear's full of cool dudes. Anyone who isn't cool in Guilty Gear is a goober. Their cast goes one of two ways.
Yeah, you have the camp with Slayer and Johnny. You have the camp with Axel and Angie.
Chip's a goof.
Yeah,
Chip's a goober. Potemkin changed teams. Potemkin without the uniform is cool. Potemkin with the uniform is a goober.
Yeah.
Milia is very much in the category of cool chicks. Even though she's annoying to play against, she is cool, you know?
Yeah.
Venom and Zato can both change between cool and goober, depending entirely on whether or not Milia or Zato is in the scene with them.
Yeah.
Like Venom with no Zato, one of the coolest motherfuckers around. Venom with Zato in the room, goober. Zato with Milia in the room not only isn't cool, he's just scary. He's just spooky. There's not many abusive boyfriends in fighting games.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
In fact,
it's kind of the same situation.
There's too many.
Like, it's kind of like in the same situation with like DOA. It occurred to me like, oh man, I love to play like awful people in fighting games. I love playing Melina, Shao Kahn, M. Bison because they're confident bad guys. And I was like, at the same time, they're awful people. Where's the line I draw? And then it occurred to me, oh, the line I draw is Raidu in Dead or Alive. I won't play as a character who's a rapist.
Yeah.
An actual canonical rapist. Oh. With Mortal Kombat, I'd also have to throw in Cyrax. Cyrax is cool.
Depends on the game.
Yeah, when he's just Lin Kuei programmed and evil, then he's not so cool.
I'd also say that depending on the scene in the Mortal Kombat 9, he switches between goober and cool.
Kind of, yeah. He's a little bit goober before robot, yeah. Who's the biggest goober in Mortal Kombat other than Baraicho? And Johnny. Other than Baraicho and Johnny.
Jinko.
Yeah, no! That's
Taven.
You're saying that as a meme answer because Shijinko's a stinky character, but you're still not wrong. He is kind of a goober at several points in Conquest mode.
Taven.
Taven's a goober. Taven's he was meant to be cool, and he wound up being a goober.
Yeah, like Taven and Dagon, I think his brother was. I don't remember. Whatever. Both of them are big goobers, like the biggest goobers in Mortal Kombat. I'd argue that Su Hao is less of a goober because at least we remember him.
Su Hao is such a goober he almost crosses over into cool.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a very solid chance the Mortal Kombat 12 trailer ends with the reveal that Su Hao is going to be playable. Because Su Hao is almost a major fucking character with how much talk he gets in the games these days. Like, Su Hao's shadow hangs over these games now more than fucking Onaga.
Ed Boon will work himself into a shoot where he will hate Su Hao so much he'll keep putting him into the games until he actually start liking Su Hao.
What if Su Hao gets a fight intro where he has Ed Boon's head?
Yeah.
Because you know Ed would do that. You know he would.
Yeah.
Oh,
shit.
man.
But yeah, what other cool women can I think of?
Let's see.
I almost want to say like, yeah, go ahead.
Jade, depending on the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Choners.
Chan.
How did we get this far without saying Choners?
I don't know.
That's the most embarrassing
Judy.
one. That is the... Yeah. Laura, I think, is in the same category as Ivy, where her sexuality just adds to her confident cool. Sakura, though, is the queen of goobers.
Yes, Sakura is the queen of goobers. I almost wanted to say Angel, but Angel is a goober.
Yeah. Angel's a cool goober.
Yeah. Again,
there's not many of them. Angel's a cool goober. Johnny Cage is a cool goober.
Shingo is all. I'd also say is a cool goober.
Axel in Guilty Gear is a cool goober.
Yeah.
Who else have we got for cool goobers? Kim Kafwan is a cool goober.
Definitely.
Harry's probably the definition of cool goober, come to think of it. Like, he's a goober, but he doesn't know he's a goober, and he's not ashamed of it at all. He just continues goobering. I still like the idea that, like, KOF 13 almost seems to imply that maybe Terry's brain damaged, and that's why he talks that way.
Oh no.
I mean, let's be real here. Most long-term fighting game characters probably are at least a little bit brain damaged.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of a bit in the comic Super Sons, which is the comic about Damian Wayne and John Kent going on adventures together, right?
Yeah.
And there is at one point a scene where John Kent sits down to have breakfast with Clark and Lois. And John says, "Dad, can I go out on patrol tonight?" And Clark says, "No, son, you know the rules. No patrolling at night." John says, "But Damian's dad lets him patrol at night." Clark says, "Damian's dad gets concussed weekly. Eat your breakfast."
Oh, Damian's dad's parents died. Shut up.
Yeah. Oh, boy. The old panel of Ma Kent looking at Clark and going, I bet Batman doesn't treat his parents like this. There's got to be some cool and goober picks from bad fighting games, right?
Well, it depends on what you define as bad.
The entire cast of Dong Dong.
The entire cast of Dong Dong is cool goobers, yes.
Yeah.
Especially the Fist of the North Star horse.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you joking? Like, he's animated, but his power is so great that even though he's a 2D sprite, he can carry a 3D woman.
Yeah.
That is power. Oh my god, at some point one of these days I've got to figure out how to download Dong Dong.
Cool. From the problem with us playing Dong Dong is that from what I remember, all but like one download link has been nuked off the internet, and the one download link is unsafe, or at least seems unsafe.
Yeah, I'll probably like see if I can do some wizardry with like downloading it on my phone and then transferring it to my PC or something like
Yeah,
that.
or try it in like a virtual machine or whatever.
Mugen. Somebody has almost certainly remade Dong Dong through Mugen.
Ah, yeah, and then if the Ikemen developments continue, we can actually play it online.
Yeah.
So yeah. Uh, let's see. Hmm.
Neither of us really know Dead or Alive well enough to say like who's really a cool guy or a goober.
Jackie Bryant is the coolest goober in Dead or Alive.
Oh, who's the Zach? That Zach guy in Dead or Alive. That's a classic goober.
Yeah,
Okay, Kano, cool or goober?
both.
Yeah.
That's the only real answer, because he's a he's a cool-ish character, but he's been a jobber for 40 years. So
And he's the one character out of the like jobber cast in Mortal Kombat who feels like he's pretty happy in the role, honestly.
yeah, I mean, look, Austin Aries had to do something after he quit WWE or whatever happened with him.
Yeah. Like it's like Reptile's my boy, so I'm kind of sad about him being made irrelevant. Kano's just kind of like up until Mortal Kombat 11 made a variety of bad choices, including the choices they made with Kano. Kano just felt like he was solidly in the category of like I'm perfectly happy to see him keep losing, and then he gets away anyways because he's like a Saturday morning cartoon villain anyways, and he loves it.
Yeah.
Ha ha! I'm sneaking away. Catch me later, you bleeding gits.
I kind of wish that they let him win a couple times, just so that he can gloat about it and then fall harder later.
Well, you remember he threw Johnny off of the fucking bridge above the pit in Mortal Kombat 9.
He had one good scene 40 years ago.
And they remembered that. I remember the match intro in Mortal Kombat X, if you had Johnny versus Kano, was Johnny comes in. Didn't you throw me off a bridge? Kano, being Kano, just says, yeah, guilty as charged. And Johnny just says, oh, I'm going to enjoy this. Man. I like that Kano, like, there's this universe of monsters and freaks in Mortal Kombat. Kano is the one character who earns everyone else's disgust.
Yeah.
And Kano also seems like the one guy who's never disgusted at anyone. Like Kano and Aaron Black. Well, no, Aaron Black's the one who's the weird monster fucker, isn't he? I think I've seen that he's got a lot of dialogues where he's like horny almost for Devora.
I don't know. He might.
No, it's Devora implies that her and Kotal banged at one point, and Kotal gets real offended.
Ah, yeah.
Which I have. It's a question I don't want answered, but how? Because, like, Naked Devora is a skin you can just pick in Mortal Kombat 11, and there's not anything down there. Kotal, how? Also, is Naked Devora not the most disturbing skin in Mortal Kombat 11?
I like not looking at Devora, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, every time it feels like I'm being abruptly assaulted. Like, whoa!
That's me every time Devora's on screen.
I would like to see the bit from KOF 13 where if Devora is wearing that outfit, all the intro dialogues just consist of Devora, please put some clothes on.
Yeah. This one doesn't need modesty.
Yeah. This one's getting more of that Aztec dick. Holy Jesus.
uh,
Okay, just trying to stick to cool chicks then, because we've obviously hit several cool dudes. Coolest chick in Soul Cal other than, let's say, Ivy. Sung Mina is pretty cool.
She's kind of basic, but considering her competition, yeah.
I mean, I think she's pretty cool in the role of pretty well Yun Sung's minder, you know?
I guess. Like once again, it's a thing of like, well, in any other game, she'd be very basic, but then when we only look at coolness, and we look at every other character, it's like, all right, so you have all of these goobers and Ivy, so
Yeah.
like who's supposed to be cooler than her and Sangmina? Tira, fucking what's
Kira!
her face, Rachel, Talib.
Right, well, Rachel and Talim are literal children, or teenagers rather, but still.
Yeah.
Tira is kind of like, do you consider Harley Quinn cool? If you
No.
do, then she's cool.
And
But she's very much.
I'm not a like early teenage girl, so I don't consider Harley Quinn cool.
For a second, I thought you were about to say clown fucker.
That's also apt.
Yeah, and she does have a clown costume in several Soul Calibur games.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say she also has a clown fucker in one of the Soul Calibur.
That's what Nightmare has to put on before it starts.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's what the soulish turns into. Tina gets it.
Oh, Vanessa? How did we miss Vanessa?
Yeah, Vanessa.
KOF, I think, is one of the most spoiled for female rosters.
Yeah. Like KOF has a fairly good roster in the sense that the biggest problem KOF has in terms of roster is that all of these characters could be main characters in other games. So you just kind of just tune characters out after a point.
Like, no, I think KOF not only has lots of cool chicks, it's also got Yuri, who is the single biggest goober woman in fighting games.
Yeah. Alright, who is the bigger goober, Sakura or Yuri?
Yuri, easily. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sakura you can take seriously. I mean, you can take both seriously as a threat, but like, Sakura, the goofy thing, is the company she keeps. You know, as long as she's hanging out with Dan and Blanca, it's goober. But if she's getting involved with Ryu or, what's her face? The noble chick.
Karin.
If it's with Ryu or Karin, then I think like Sakura can be taken seriously. Yuri, no matter what.
Or if she's getting trained by Akuma and unlocking the Dark Huddle.
Yeah. Yuri, no matter what, will always have a moveset that is at least partly comprised of slaps.
And the rear view.
And the rear view. And ripping off the movesets of literally every Street Fighter Shoto.
Yeah. Which is why she's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine.
She's awesome. I love her. She's a goober.
Yeah, she totally is. Alright, imagine if in Street Fighter, if in KOF 16, they give Yuri the basketball throw.
That, would be great. Yes.
I'm just okay. I had an even worse idea.
And Lucky Glauber comes back to challenge her for it.
Yeah. No, like that. Ah, fuck. Okay, so imagine this. Yuri plays like she usually does, which is to say Akuma with slaps in the rear view. On top of that, she has a new move where she calls in a basketball. She enters a dribbling to sense. She has moves out of it. One of them is Sean's basketball throw.
I mean, that would be just like Yuri to not only rip off a Street Fighter move, but to do it bigger.
Yeah. And then her rival for the game is Lucky Glauber.
Which fighting game has the worst female cast?
I want to say Arcana Heart. Just off of design. Uh,
Like, the trouble is, my mind jumps to immediately go for the one with, like, the most obnoxiously sexualized characters. So 3D Mortal Kombat or Dead or Alive. But it still doesn't feel right for me to say that about, let's say, Melina or what's her face, the MMA chick, who's real cool in DOA. Is that Mira?
I was about to say Ronda Rousey. Like,
No, I would not main Ronda Rousey. Are you joking?
I don't remember the MMA chick's name in DOA.
I think it's Mira. Like, there are cool characters there are cool chicks in those casts. It just
The
feel
majority is
dirty
not.
for it.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'd say that depending on the game and thus her outfit, Tina could count as cool because, you know, when she's not being exploited.
Yeah. And pro wrestler characters are always cool.
And not always. Need I remind you of El Fuerte?
You know, if El Fuerte hadn't named the moves the way he named them, I would say he's cool.
I wouldn't.
It's the fact that his moves are named Tortilla Press and Quesadilla Buster and shit like that ruins it.
I still wouldn't call him cool. Like, I dislike both how he and Ramon play because they're the same character. I think
Ramon always
Like,
always eludes me, but I love El Fuerte's gameplay. I just wish he was less of a goober.
I think they're both just like very goober by design, even gameplay wise.
I forgot what I was going to say.
All right.
Carry on.
Let's see. What other cool chicks from fighting games can I think of? Oh no, wait. We moved on to what's the one with the worst female cast? Uh. Hmm. I mean, okay.
You could probably say KI before 2015 or 2013.
Yeah. I mean, do we want to count underutilized as bad?
Oh boy, then you'd have to count every female character in Tekken.
Yeah. And I was gonna go with a different one because it has a larger cast, but yeah, that can also counts. Because if you wanna count underutilized, and if you wanna count games other than traditional fighters, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, by virtue of being a Naruto product, has the worst female cast.
Yeah, that as licenses go, yeah, Naruto's pretty high up there. I mean, there is what's her name, the teacher chick?
Yeah, Tsunade.
Tsunade is all right.
Tsunade has her moments. The Tochikage, I think. I don't remember what her actual name is. She has a couple of cool moments. Sakura gets a moment at the literal end of the story. And then that's all I can think of. That's 3 women out of a game with like 250 characters.
Yeah. As licenses go, that Naruto probably might be the worst because like I can go to like Dragon Ball, but like Dragon Ball still has Android 18 and Android 21 and Videl. Well, Videl's pretty badly underused, but Android 18 and 21. Or you could go with like JoJo has several big female characters, doesn't it?
JoJo has Lisa for the earlier ones where she's very cool. JoJo has an entire part where a lot of the main cast are women.
But isn't it set in a women's prison?
Not strictly a women's prison. It's a high security prison, and then a lot of it is in the women ward because the main character is a woman.
Okay.
But then again, it also comes up with like, okay, well, there's Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters presents as a woman, but Foo Fighters is actually Foo Fighters is actually Algie. Does she count?
Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, you know what game has the worst female cast?
What?
Street Fighter 1.
You're right.
Yeah. Did the first Fatal Fury have any female characters?
I'll check. I'll look it up. Words.
Art of Fighting 1 had King, which of course she was in drag at the time, but still.
Yeah.
Well, King was always in drag. What am I saying? It's just that back then she also said she was a guy.
Let's see. No, that's Fatal Fury Special. That doesn't help me.
No, Fatal Fury Special definitely has female characters.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, this is the entire series.
What?
I found a table of literally every Fatal Fury character, and which games they were available in. All right, there's this character who I don't know. Hmm. Fatal Fury might not have had female characters.
Okay. Street Fighter 2 really, I guess, shocked everyone with the addition of Chun-Li,
Yeah.
which then made it more mandatory for Mortal Kombat 1 to include Sonya.
Yeah. It seems like Fatal Fury 1 didn't have female characters.
You know, it's a weird thing that just occurred to me.
What?
Killer Instinct and Darkstalkers I've almost always kind of thought of as almost relatively sibling franchises. They're both very much about, monsters and goofy 90s-ness and Halloween aesthetic. But on top of that, it just occurred to me, both series have a male character they picked as the initial main character. The main character of Darkstalkers was supposed to be Dimitri. The main character of KI was supposed to be Jago. But the sequels and the audience all agreed, okay, no, fuck Dimitri, fuck Jago. It's all about Morgan in Darkstalkers. It's all about Orchid in KI. I just find that funny, you know?
Yeah. There's also more and more comparisons, considering Morgan is an actual succubus, and doesn't Orchid's side say hot?
What?
Which is practically the same thing, as we all know.
Yeah. Uh-huh. No, I think Morgan's a very solid Shoto with a focus on air maneuverability, whereas Orchid's very much rushdown.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Huh. Anyways. I think we've pretty well exhausted this topic as much as we can.
I'm looking at whatever else I might have found. So, I guess along similar lines, but not gendered. Best puppet character, and why?
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Puppet character, Zaro or Relius.
Oh, best puppet character.
Yeah, best puppet character.
Well, there's multiple questions there of like, okay, like Carl Clover I could think of as the most distinctly, this guy is a puppet character. As in, there is virtually nothing you can do with, okay, I shouldn't say virtually nothing. There's very little you can do with Carl Clover without the puppet, right?
Yeah.
Without using the puppet as Carl Clover, he's more than a little bit shit. It can be a fun challenge to try and just use Carl on his own, and it is doable, especially if you're on easy difficulty against the AI. But without the puppet, it's like, why play Carl? He would, I would think, be the most distinctive. Who would be? I don't know who would ever be the best. I have to assume that, barring Tager, Carl Clover has probably been, barring Tager and Arakune in the very first Blaze Blue back when he was mad OP. I would have to assume Carl Clover is one of the strongest characters in all of Blaze Blue, just by sheer nature of it's hard to think of a character design that gives more reward for insane amounts of practice, you know?
Yeah.
Outside of him, puppet characters I really associate with Blaze Blue, because Blaze Blue has quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Beyond him, I struggle to think of puppet characters.
I mean, I
Guilty
almost,
Gear had a
yeah.
puppet Zato, I think, is much closer to being Baby's first puppet character, and I say that because he's the only puppet character I've really been able to even vaguely get the hang of. And that's largely because Zato really only has 2 tools off of the puppet, and a lot
Yeah.
of the game with Zato is not, okay, how do I make this ultra difficult, super stinky setup? A lot of the game with Zato is keeping track of when the puppet is on cooldown.
Yeah. I almost wanna say, and you might disagree with this, I almost wanna say that Galford is a puppet character.
Who's Galford?
Uh, the American ninja from Sam Show.
The trouble is that you forget that I have played like 2 matches of Sam Show. I don't remember how any of those goddamn characters play.
Galford has zoning and stuff like that, but a lot of his zoning is based on dog. So
Can he place the dog and recall the dog and stuff like that?
I don't think he can place it, but a lot of his moves lock him into place as the dog moves.
Do you take control of the dog, though, or is it just the dog runs forward and bites them?
The latter.
I would very much not consider that a puppet character. No. If the question is favorite puppet character, that's also a different question, because they said best puppet character, and that's a question for someone with a lot of competitive experience in a lot of games, right?
Yeah.
Favorite is a different question. Favorite, I'd really struggle to come up with an answer because I haven't played very little in terms of puppet characters. Kind of like trying to think
Kanji.
of it. Kanji, no. Again, your definition of puppet character here. By that definition of puppet character, fucking like, by that definition of puppet character, Peacock is a puppet character. Faust is a puppet character. Devora, puppet character.
I forget. Couldn't you call out your personas in Arena?
You
Do stuff with
can,
them?
but it's, well, no, you don't take control of the persona. You just
Okay.
call them out when you do attacks.
Okay.
I
didn't
believe
remember.
Shadow Labrys, I believe, was legitimately a puppet character.
Ah.
Her persona stayed out all the time, and the whole game was built around trying to command the persona alongside Labrys herself.
Yeah.
I struggle to think because, like, the games I put a lot of time into are mostly Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Injustice back in the day, but I've not played it a whole lot, which, to be fair, NetherRealm ain't either. None of those are really puppet character heavy games. None of them really have the capacity for it. They wouldn't fit in the system. Unless, no. Because there are some characters who look like they should be puppet characters in Injustice, but they aren't.
Ah.
Because Zod looks like he should be a puppet character with the little negative zone demon he summons, but he's not.
Yeah.
Was there a puppet character in Marvel?
Wait, can't you control the like saucer thing that the red lantern calls in? I don't remember.
The saucer thing that the Red Lantern
Injustice
Oh, the
2.
cat. Atrocitus, yes. Atrocitus does have the cat, but I don't think it was puppet. It. I want to say that the cat. I want to say that the cat for Atrocitus was along the same lines as Zod, where you summon a demon, and for Zod, the demon just sits behind the opponent and keeps following them. And every time you hit circle, the demon will hit. But it's not really a
Ah,
puppet character setup, I
yeah.
wouldn't say. The same
It's
visuals could
a
have been received from just sticking a bomb to the guy that detonates when you hit circle.
yeah. It's a move extender.
Yeah. And I want to say the cat was the same thing, except she just had more moves she could do than Zod, which was just either smack them in the back of the head or bite them.
Yeah.
Because the cat could vomit blood. I could remember that. That was a solid thing there. I need to go back and play it. Like, I actually kind of ignored a lot of the characters' circle button special abilities in Injustice, and I think that's a big part of Injustice that I was really missing. So I should go back to Injustice someday and actually try it. Like, give it a serious look now that I actually somewhat understand fighting games. Now, I could stand to do the same thing with Mortal Kombat X, really. Was there not a puppet character in no, I've entirely forgotten what game I was talking about at all. Oh my
Ooh.
god, I'm losing it. Uh
Wait,
oh my god.
stands inherited heritage for the future.
Stands in Heritage for the Future. That's different from All Star Battle, right? Because I was about to
Yes.
say, like, okay, I played a bit of All Star Battle. That was not puppets.
So inheritage for the future. I think it works like Carl, if memory serves. Well, not exactly like Carl, but you call them out and then you can do certain motions to make them do moves and they're on a timer. Like I
I
remember. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I don't know anything about this game.
It's the old Capcom JoJo game.
I don't know anything about that game, dude.
Ah, but yeah, like one
The
of
only
the
thing I know about that game is that Dio's win pose as he rolls off the screen like an idiot.
ah yeah, like I remember one of the combo videos I saw for it was I think it was with Jotaro, where you'd stop time because if memory serves he had that. I don't remember, but whatever it was either him or Joe or Dio, and the combo boiled down to putting the stand on one side of the enemy and putting your character on the other side, and then just doing the punches in bunches a lot. And it seemed like something you wouldn't be able to do without it being a puppet.
Well, I think we've observed there's a lot of stuff that looks like puppet character mechanics but aren't.
Yeah.
It's one of the rarest fighting game character archetypes. It's maybe the rarest. It's difficult to say.
Hmm. I mean, it's one of the rarest, but at the same time, like I'd say that stuff like the what you call it, the subsystems like getting drunk for Jamie
I
were
I
were prevalent in the early days, but have died off.
I don't know. I think their subsystem characters still are because like Mortal Kombat has subsystem characters. Jax is a subsystem character. In Mortal Kombat X, Baraicho was a subsystem character. Now, the actual advancedness of the subsystem is a different question entirely. You know, not every subsystem is Junpei.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who's another puppet character that's actually I can actually think of as pretty easy to pick up and play?
Yeah.
Misfortune in Skullgirls. It's the head. It can bite people. You can move it
Oh
around.
yeah.
It can also do a flying headbutt. I forget what else it can do, but it is like a legitimate puppet character. You move it around the screen. Huh. Either which way, what else was there? Because I don't think either of us were the authorities on that fucking question. Holy shit.
Yeah. All right, this should be a fast one, I think. Best
You
boxers.
said that about the one before the last one, and we
I
took
know.
forever on it.
Best boxers in fighting games. It's Vanessa. There you have it. Like it's either Vanessa or Dudley. Those are your
I
two
couldn't pick.
answers.
Rog is strong, Dudley's strong, Vanessa's strong, Steve Fox is strong. Like, Balrog is the epitome of the I'm just gonna hit him side of boxing. And I think Steve Fox is closer to the technique side of boxing.
Yeah, for me, I just like when boxing isn't like I like it when the boxing character isn't a sport boxer but a street boxer is the best way I can put it. So like it's not that they weren't properly trained or whatever. It's just that they're not entirely centered around the sport of boxing. And Steve Fox a lot of times comes off as I am boxer man, and so does Rog a lot of times with his designs. Whereas Dudley and Vanessa are allowed to be who?
Dudley does too.
I mean, Dudley less so. Like I had Dudley looks like he's the announcer for a boxing match.
Heh. You know who's the underrated boxing character?
Who?
Heavy D.
Ah, yeah.
Come on. Please let the last reveals for KO 15 DLC be the sports team. We're never going to get it. At this point, they think it's funnier than at this point, they get more joy from taking them out of the game than by putting them in.
The announcer for KOF 16 is them showing them in the game and then dragging the American sports team folder into the recycle bin.
Yeah. We have put in hundreds of hours of work to make the fullest interpretation of the American sports team. Look at all these assets. Oops!
They
Right into the recycling bin. Oh no, what am I doing? I'm clicking clear recycling bin. No!
This was the last copy. But yeah, I'm also imagining it's not just that they're bringing them back. Like they have completely new designs. The graphics are really good. They have new moves. They're fucking wicked in their gameplay. Just drag them into the recycle bin. Fuck it.
They bring in the character designer, and as the character designer steps on stage, one of the other, some hired Yakuza dude, or Saudi Arabia now, some hired Saudi dude just steps up behind him and slits his fucking throat. He bleeds out on stage. No one bothers to pick him up while the rest of the presentation goes on.
They never acknowledge this, by the way.
Yeah. Well, they announce him as the character designer. Hey, it's so-and-so, the character designer. Big hand for him, everyone. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I believe that's all of the topics that I have found.
Yeah.
So I guess what games did we play in the past 2 weeks? I didn't. Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat 11. I picked up the DLCs. They are fun. The characters that I have bounced off of are the exact characters I expected to bounce off of. Rain, Fujin, Sindel. Well, Sindel seems relatively cool. I'm just not going to get invested with her. But Rain and Fujin, there's always... The DLC lot is always a mixture of, Okay, we got these characters who are definitely of this archetype, but maybe with a couple fun twists. And here's the super advanced dudes. And I look at the super advanced dudes who have a million moves, and I'd go, some other day, but not today. And that day never comes. And it happens with every DLC, not just for NetherRealm, but for every fighting game. Because again, like Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 5, we got Season Pack 2, and Akuma, great. I love all these guys. Minot, this is somebody else's character. Mortal Kombat X, again. Predator, awesome. Jason Voorhees, awesome. Tremor, like, the only time I could think of where they introduced a really advanced character with a DLC pack, including a bunch of much simpler characters, and I actually did really like that advanced character, was the last DLC for Mortal Kombat X, because I did really like Triborg, even though Triborg is, again, one of the more advanced characters in Mortal Kombat X. And yeah, Rain and Fujin. Rain is not quite the god beast he was in the past Mortal Kombat, thank God. He still has the super kick, but the super kick now comes at the end of a straight up Tatsumaki.
Nice.
Like, it's just straight up the Tatsumaki, and it leaves a trail of water behind him. The classic bubble is more or less gone. He can get it as a custom move, but it doesn't let him just float them all around the air wherever he wishes. It's, okay, the bubble hits, they're put in a bubble for a second, and he chooses a direction for them to be thrown out of the bubble. And both of those are understandable, because Rain was crazy in a game where everyone was crazy. Maybe we should tone him a bit down for this game where everyone else has been toned down. Fujin, a bit of a weird character, a lot of wind manipulation stuff. Didn't entirely understand a lot of his moves, but I didn't put that much time into working him. So just to get all those guys out of the way, I did give you the gist on a few of the guys last night. Rambo is a guy who's comfortable at any range. I wouldn't call him a Shoto by any means, but he's comfortable at any range. He can be a mix-up machine if he wants, if he's got the custom moves for it. Nightwolf, very aggressive character, very much does not like zoners. Not too mix-up heavy, but he's very pressure heavy. Terminator is Jason Voorhees. If you saw Jason Voorhees in Mortal Kombat X, you know what he is. He's slow, he's got lots of mix-up, he's got lots of command grabs. He is just supposed to be slow and terrifying. Melina, again, if you saw her in Mortal Kombat X, she feels just about the same. Very aggressive, very frantic, rushdown character. Surprisingly limited mix-ups, though. At least it seemed to me. Shang is Shang. He feels the most like they were trying as hard as they could to keep him with the same move identity, while still kind of acknowledging, like, okay, we can't have Shang be Mortal Kombat 9 Shang Tsung because he'd outclass everyone else here. But they tried to do that, and they tried to give more character to his moves. For instance, the old up fireball is not up fireball now. He pulls out a weird scroll, and it causes a corpse to rain down from the sky on top of the opponent instead of it just being a fireball. Because I think someone at NetherRealm was like, okay, maybe Shang shouldn't just be all fireballs and then Soul Steel.
Soul Steel, I was about to say, like, I kind of wish that they had just made him Mortal Kombat 2 Shang. With the dumb yellow outfit.
You can almost certainly pick that outfit. Though the face, he's going to look a bit less like, a Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
Whatever. Because, they actually went with Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa for this movie. So, for this game, excuse me, and they took him from the movie. There we go. And one of the outfits does just look exactly like he did in the movie. So, that's fun. What else was I going to say about it? I feel like I was going to say something. Right. I was very surprised to see that Soul Steel returns just in classic form. It is just 100% you become the opponent, except better. So it's a move that it's like, okay, I'm up against Jax. I can play Jax. I'll play Jax. I am no longer Shang Tsung. I am now Jax. Conversely, it's like, okay, Fujin, I need to remember not to ever use Soul Steel or I'm fucked. Yeah, Shang is fun. Yeah, the DLC characters are fun. I'm enjoying Mortal Kombat 11 a lot more now than I did at launch. I don't know what changes they made. It does feel like the game's a lot snappier. Maybe they lowered the input delay for some reason. For some reason, it does seem like fighting games always launch with input delay, and then are always, the number one issue is, why is this input delay here?
Yeah.
Don't know why that is. I'm sure there is a logical reason why it keeps happening, because, people aren't stupid. But either which way, beyond that, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I still think the biggest issue with Mortal Kombat 11 is the biggest issue with Injustice 2, which is, I don't want to farm in towers! Like, it's... I mean, gameplay-wise, there's no necessity to it, which is nice, because Injustice 2, you had to actually go and farm in towers if you wanted to unlock all the custom moves. Fuck me. And good God, there are a lot of people who had serious problems with that, with Robin in Injustice 2. One of his custom moves he could pick up was a moveset change where he could switch to Nightwing's moveset from Injustice 1.
Ah.
Which was cool. But you had to unlock it. And it had equal chances with every other custom move in the game, but there was a lot of custom moves in that game. And it became a notorious thing. The people who were able to get it early on were very lucky, but there's lots of people who got fucked on it.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11, all the custom moves are unlocked from the start, thank God, and they're all considered. Custom variations are allowed online, thank God. There's also the tournament variations that you can just play at any time, thank God. So it's all made a lot better, and the fact that the custom moves are actually something that will see competitive play and aren't just for dunking on the AI, thank God, because Injustice 2, that's a real issue. Especially with some characters like Red Hood who felt like they were reliant on custom moves. Either which way, yeah. Aside from the annoyance of having to leave my AI farming towers like it's fucking Cookie Clicker, I am having a really good time with it. It is a fun game. I will say I had a bad cringe moment the other day, though, thinking... Do you remember during the build-up to Mortal Kombat 11 when we were talking about it on the Shut Your Mouth Lounge?
No.
So we were talking about it somewhat. It was kind of a week in, week out thing, and naturally, because it's a game getting hyped up, we get more and more information revealed. I remember when I saw the initial gameplay revealed, I was saying like, okay, yeah, this is toned down, but you know what other game was toned down and really fun and satisfying? Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. This could be the next Third Strike. Okay. Ooh.
It sure was.
Yeah, well, talking out my ass is my specialty out of our trio. That's the original sin for me. I think we've each got an original sin that no matter how we try to help it, we tend to end up autopiloting back into it because it's just our natural tendency. And like for me, I always talk about shit I don't actually know shit about. And I don't know why I do that, because I know that I do it, and I stop myself when I notice it, but there are all the kinds of times I do it and I don't notice it. Whatever. Anyways, I believe that's about the extent of it. I think you're sick of talking about Mortal Kombat, so I suppose we should probably go ahead and say fighting games war.
I mean, I don't know how much I could add, is it? With Mortal Kombat. Like, single player technically in the game, but not really. Uh-huh.
Oh, the thing that gets me is like your big thing is arcade mode. Mortal Kombat does have arcade mode.
Mortal Kombat does have arcade mode, but it's a thing of like they tried progress into it just enough to make it feel unsatisfying. If it didn't have progress tied to it at all or whatever, I'd like it better. And then the towers just feel bad. The story sucks.
That is such a weird thing. Like I get rewarded for this. I don't like it.
It's not even. It's not just that I get rewarded for this. It's I get given a pittance that doesn't actually do anything. Like they're insulting me. Like I'm not gonna say it's a logical thing. It's just a thing. But yeah, it's also like I think it's also partially that like I somewhat like two characters of the entire cast, and there's only so many times I can go through arcade mode with two characters before I get bored of the game.
Eh.
But yeah. So, yeah, I guess fighting games were.
Fighting games were.